rejected.
That's kind of crazy.
Plus, they're not old enough to vote, but that's not stopping these teens from making democracy work.
This is NBC Nightly News with Kate Snow, reporting from Beaver, Pennsylvania, and Jose Diaz-Balart from Miami, Florida.
Good evening. Jose and I are both in critical battlegrounds tonight with the clock ticking down. Vice President Biden spent this day in the Philadelphia area, and he'll be here in Beaver County in western Pennsylvania tomorrow, followed by multiple rallies across the Keystone State. This after President Trump made 4 stops here yesterday.
And Kate, the president finishes his whirlwind day here in Florida with a rally expected to go past midnight and past a curfew mandated by Miami-Dade County as part of its COVID restrictions. We're spread out across the battlegrounds tonight, and we begin with Kelly O'Donnell traveling with the president.
For President Trump, rallies on repeat.
Tuesday, right? Tuesday! Super Tuesday, we'll call it, right?
5 states.
And Michigan is going to make history once again.
5 events.
We're very happy with Iowa.
Taking the stage just after 11 this morning, the last rally due to start at 11 tonight. A 12-hour Sunday sprint through sunshine and cold.
Does anybody have a coat I could use, please? This is definitely not the right one.
The president tries again and again to keep COVID off the ballot.
And we're rounding the turn on a pandemic. Think of that.
But the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, gave the Washington Post a dire assessment. Asked how the 2 campaigns approach COVID, Fauci said the president is focused on reopening the economy, while Joe Biden's campaign is taking it seriously from a public health perspective. The White House accused Fauci of revealing a partisan bias. It's unacceptable and breaking with all norms for Dr. Fauci to choose 3 days before an election to play politics. Back on the trail, President Trump defended supporters in Texas, not as menacing, but energetic.
Do you see the way our people, they were protecting his bus yesterday?
The president tweeted video of an incident where Trump backers surrounded a Biden campaign bus.
They had hundreds of cars. Trump and the American flag.
Joined by daughter Ivanka, the president is polling ahead in Iowa and making predictions.
There's not going to be a transition. We're winning.
Still feeling pressure to counter Democrats' advantage with early voting.
Who is going to vote on election day? And who's already voted? Kelly, what's the president saying about election night?
Well, Jose, he is saying that he does not plan to call a victory early before the counting plays out, but will have lawyers ready if needed. He's just arriving here in North Carolina now. Georgia, Florida still tonight. 5 more rallies tomorrow, ending as he did in 2016 with a late night stop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Jose, Kate?
Okay, Kelly O'Donnell, thank you. Joe Biden spent today here in Pennsylvania, this state considered the tipping point, the state that could put either candidate over the top. Joe Biden will spend almost all of the final hours of the campaign here. Jeff Bennett is with the Biden campaign.
Biden blitz through battleground Pennsylvania tonight. The former VP making several stops in Philadelphia.
Every day is a new reminder of how high the stakes are, of how far the other side will go to try to suppress the turnout, especially here in Philadelphia.
Rallying supporters at a so-called Souls to the Polls event with faith leaders.
Theme of y'all reminds me of that gospel hymn that inspired so many of us. When I last talked to John Lewis, as he's dying, he reminded me of it. I don't feel no ways tired. I've come too far from where I started from.
A drive-in rally aimed at delivering African-American support.
I'm a pastor, and so part of what it means to me is that people of faith exercise every resource at our disposal, and the vote is one of those resources.
Why are you supporting Joe Biden?
He knows how to help the country heal, and that's one of the things that we need to do, is we need to heal.
The Biden campaign looking to boost turnout in a state President Trump won by only about 44,000 votes in 2016. Pennsylvania considered crucial since its 20 electoral college votes could be the decisive tipping point. Running mate Kamala Harris hitting Georgia and North Carolina today.
We have to earn the vote of every person.
It all comes a day after the Biden campaign crisscrossed Michigan with former President Barack Obama. Obama winning raves on social media for sinking this three-point shot at a Flint, Michigan high school gym. The former president tweeting the viral video, along with the caption, "Shoot your shot," to encourage voting.
And Jeff joins us now from Philadelphia. Jeff, the Biden campaign making some last-minute appearance plans?
That's right, Kate. Joe Biden is making a stop in Cleveland tomorrow. Campaign sources tell me they believe Ohio may be within reach. And the campaign announced today that both John Legend and Lady Gaga will join the Democratic candidates and their spouses when they return to Pennsylvania tomorrow to close out the campaign. Kate, Jose?
Jeff Bennett in Philadelphia, thank you. The president's next stop today is in Georgia, a state that's usually considered reliably red, but not this year. Kamala Harris was also making her case there today. Blaine Alexander joins us from Atlanta. Blaine.
Well, Jose, it's been nearly 30 years since Georgia went blue in a presidential election. This is typically not a battleground state, but the polls show the two candidates virtually tied, and now with record-breaking early voting numbers, they're both here trying to make their final case. In just 48 hours today, we're seeing President Trump hold a rally, Senator Kamala Harris holding a separate rally, tomorrow former President Barack Obama, and just last week, Joe Biden. So all of this, of course, trying to appeal to voters. Early voting turnout has been record-breaking, nearly 3.9 million votes. That's almost the entire total of what we saw in 2016. With early voting now behind us, it all comes down to Tuesday. Guys.
All right, Blaine Alexander in Atlanta. Texas is known for doing things big, and that includes early voting there.
Can you close your mouth, little bit?
Already than voted in all of 2016. But the big unknown, who's benefiting from this historic turnout? Garrett Hake is in Houston tonight. Garrett?
The turnout here really has been stunning. About 9.5 million Texans have cast their ballots early. That's 10% of the early votes cast anywhere in the country. The numbers are so big, it's convinced Democrats that possibly, just maybe, they could compete in this state they haven't been able to flip since 1976. The Biden campaign sending Kamala Harris and Dr. Jill Biden to campaign here, but not Joe Biden, meaning Texas is a state they'd like to win, but don't have to win. For their part, the Trump campaign says it's not a battleground state at all, and they haven't since the president.
Garrett, thank you. I'm standing in the borough of Beaver, Pennsylvania. It's the county seat of Beaver County, northwest of Pittsburgh. There's a quaint downtown behind me, beautiful homes, but that's not the whole picture. This used to be steel country, and generations of families had working-class jobs, registered Democrat, voted for Democrats. Not anymore.
The Ohio River cuts a path through Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Back when big steel mills dotted the river and dominated the valley, nearly everyone voted Democrat. But decades after the steel mills shut down, President Trump won the county by 19 points. J.D. Pros has been reporting here more than 2 decades.
There was that sort of malaise, a feeling that, we were left behind. My children had to leave. My grandkids had to leave. They're not coming back. Trump tapped into that.
Those Trump voters weren't necessarily, in 2016, weren't necessarily Republicans.
No, this is a Democratic county that votes Republican. I think it was just a matter of, you kind of grew up Democrat, that's the lane you fell into. And then as time went on, I looked for a change.
Randy Eckelberger and his wife Kathy voted for the president in 2016 and have the Trump sign in their yard again. The last Democrat Kathy voted for was Hillary Clinton in the 2008 Democratic primary, but she did not support President Obama. Like many here, she's socially conservative, against abortion rights, for gun rights.
My values and my feelings didn't change. I felt that the Democratic parties were changing.
Kathy works at the construction site for a shell plant that will make pellets for plastic out of natural gas.
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
She's concerned about Vice President Biden's position on energy.
Joe Biden wants to take it all away.
Pro-Trump groups are targeting that issue here, both sides running more than 70 ads.
To fix the economy, we have to get control over the virus.
Marion Wise is sick of the noise. She'd always been a Democrat, voted for Obama twice.
And then 2016.
2016, I made a fatal mistake. I voted for Trump. I wasn't a Hillary. I didn't like some of the things she was saying. He was going to change things in Washington. He was going to drain the swamp. Was
Why do
I,
you roll your eyes?
oh, was I wrong? I mean, he's a fake. He hasn't done anything for our country.
There are signs she's not alone.
Houses that I never seen political signs at, that have Biden-Harris signs.
JD Pros still thinks Trump will take Beaver County, but the question is, by how much?
What does Joe Biden need to do in this county?
He needs to cut into the margin that Trump won by in 2016, which was 19 points back then.
If Biden were to do that, it could add to expected wins in urban and suburban areas in Pennsylvania. But today, President Trump got a boost here with an endorsement in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, writing that they're disturbed by the president's unpresidential manners and character, but citing the economy, energy independence, and that plant we mentioned being built over on the river. Jose.
Coming up, remember those hanging chads that hung up Florida votes back in 2000? What the state's done since then to make its elections more accurate.
Also, the parties that may be putting the nation at risk for even more COVID cases. We're back with news about the worsening COVID crisis and massive Halloween parties police broke up this weekend, generating new fears about spreading the virus just in time for the holidays. Sam Brock has details.
For the second straight night, Halloween partying putting public health at risk. New York Sheriff's deputies shutting down a nearly 400-person affair Friday in Brooklyn, only to crash this Bronx bash 24 hours later. Officials say 557+ people, all in violation of emergency stay-at-home orders. Across the country, an annual West Hollywood street party canceled. But revelers showed up anyway, forcing officers to break things up. And trick-or-treaters in Salem, Massachusetts, brushing off orders to stay away.
Yeah, you're a little bit worried, but you also know that if you take the proper precautions, you're going to be okay.
The nation's top experts say not so fast. A surge in new outbreaks is tied to close gatherings. Even the U.S. Surgeon General tweeting about heartbreaking talk with his teenager. He can't understand how his actions could impact people he doesn't even know. Why I won't let him go.
Once COVID is in your home, it spreads fast.